Welcome back to Original Greatness. I am your host, Joseph Martin, and if you're new to the channel, I appreciate you for tuning in. I need to let you guys know something right off the bat. Okay, so it's been a very productive week. We've been getting content out. We've been making major progress behind the scenes, and I want to give you a quick update about what's going on. There's been so much progress in different areas as far as the thumbnails, consistently putting out content. We're doing shorts, we're doing longs, we're promoting books, we're sharing information, we're being consistent, we're promoting on Facebook. It's a lot of different moving parts going on. So I'm telling you out the gate, I am not as prepared as I should be for this live stream. So a lot of my reaction is going to be freestyled. I wanted to, ahead of time, go through it and get bullet points of stuff I wanted to go over. Also, I know that last time we did the live stream, we left off when he was talking about an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and apples and stuff like that. To be on time, I think we around that area. I'm not sure. But all the information is good. If we double up over a little bit of the old stuff, it's okay. Also, it looked like I got two mics because I do. And what was going on was I like to use my hands when I talk. And I can't do all this with this in my face. So I tried to see if this old setup I had of the lapel mic would work. And I'm so glad I checked the quality because it is horrible. It's nowhere near this Shure mic, and because of that, I'm not gonna sit up here and show out on the quality with the video and then have it sound like I'm talking through a string in a cup. For the audio. That would be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and I'm not about to do that. Yeah, man, I've been having a lot of fun, man. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, mainly because I'm sick of people complaining. I'm going to start off straight firing. I'm tired of people complaining. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of people who don't know what to do, and I get it. It's frustrating. So if you don't know what to do and you want to change your situation, it comes out in your attitude sometimes if you don't find a way to like deal with it. So that causes you to put your attitude on other people. And I believe that the world would be a better place or a more peaceful place if people had the choice to spend their time doing things that they love and things that they enjoy, but because they are lacking in information and people that's willing to share the information about how they can not have to worry about doing something they really don't have an interest in or want to do as far as like for employment to pay their bills, that they do something in the business world where it has to do with goods and services and it's affecting other people because you're doing a half job. So I give you an example. If it's goods and you building a car, I've worked in a plant. So if you're not doing with your job, now that falls on quality control. And that's not cool. The person is paying for a car that's supposed to be done right. Same thing with service. When you go to a restaurant, who would you rather be served by? A waiter or waitress that loves their job, that's smiling so hard and enthusiastic, so you almost like, well, I got to tip you up front, you know? Or somebody is like, yeah, what you want? I don't know if we got that. All right, I'll be back. The manager ain't here. You know what I'm saying? Who would you rather be served by? So I want to do my part. I can't make you do anything. But what I can do is share information that I've ran across and that I've used to change my life. I'm not speaking from a standpoint of just going online, looking up some theories or reading some books and regurgitating or just repeating something that somebody else wrote in a book. I'm coming to you from stuff that I found that I actually used, and it was a lot of stuff that I found that didn't work for me. So the stuff that did work, I was able to separate it from the stuff that didn't work for me. And some stuff could work for other people, but as far as like me, I put the stuff to the test. And some stuff held up and some stuff didn't. But I can tell you this gentleman, Jim Rohn, everything he said in this 4-hour seminar held up. And what's so crazy about it and beautiful at the same time, it's simple. And that's what I've realized on this journey of self-development, is that it's not complicated. We make it complicated. And here's why. When somebody gives you some information, like, yeah, just read this book, that sounds too simple. And we've convinced ourselves that it has to be something difficult. It has to be something extreme. There's no way it could be something this simple, and I haven't been able to figure that out on my own yet. So you dismiss it because you don't believe it. You didn't dismiss it because it didn't work. So you never actually tried it. I took a different approach. As I was going on this journey of self-improvement, personal development, my attitude was, it sounds strange, don't sound like it'll work, but implementing it and doing it and trying it will tell me if it works or not, versus me having a belief system that's telling me it's not going to work. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in to the channel. We're about to go ahead and get into it. I hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, let's go.
Says, let the past be a school. Harsh school maybe. What else is new? Let the past be a school master to teach you. Not to threaten you, but to teach you. Okay. Next, it's how you feel about the future. Set your goals. We'll talk a little bit about that before we finish today. Goal setting. The promise of the future is an awesome force to affect your life every day. Without a future well designed, we take hesitant steps. And all you have to have is hesitant steps. For 6 years, you'll be timid, driven into a corner, not boldly willing to go and take your portion, take your share. Okay? Next, it's how you...
Hey guys, make sure you're taking notes. Take notes.
You feel about everybody else. Got to have a good attitude about everybody else, because it takes everybody else to make a market. One person doesn't make a family. One person doesn't make a business. One person doesn't make a corporation. One person doesn't make a community. One person doesn't make a nation. It takes all of us to make a dynamic economy, a nation second to none. It takes all of us to make the churches and make the economy run. It takes all of us to make the possibilities. All the gifts that have flowed in here the last 200 years, unprecedented in 6,500 years of recorded history. There's been nothing like it. The ethnic streams that have flowed in here brought their gifts, brought their talent, brought their skills, brought their inventions, brought their work ethic. All of it mixed together is called America. Been nothing like it in 6,500 years. And to miss the value of it by some, warped attitude about it, I'm telling you, you've missed it all. And if you have an appreciation for it all, you'll draw from it. And if you draw from all the gifts that have been blended together here for 200 years now for your value and benefit, think of what you can do for your days, for your business, for your conversation, for your equities. You can transform it to an incredible degree. And here's the last one. It's how you feel about yourself. Understanding self-worth is the beginning of progress. Self-worth should be easy.
Self-worth, guys. Self-worth.
If one of us can do it, all of us
all
can
do it.
If anybody can think it, we all can think it. I can read, you can read. I can understand, you can understand. From where I came from, the few simple things I did and tried revolutionized my life in 5 years. There isn't anybody here that can't do it. Change from pennies to fortune. Change from nothing to something. Change from broke to rich. Anybody in this room can do it. If any of us can do it, we all can do it. That's the kind of value you should place on yourself. If Jim Rohn can understand it, I can understand it. If he can read, I can read. If he can find it, I can find it.
Okay, I want to talk about this real quick. When we see other people do stuff, we shouldn't think we can't do it when we see somebody else do it. That's what he's telling you. You're human. You're both human. You both have bills. You both breathe air. Your situation is the same in that aspect. But because of our belief system, we think money separates us. We think that, well, he's able to do that because he has more money than me, or he's able to do that because he's smarter than me, or he's able to do that because he has, listen, a smart person with the wrong information and acting on it is going to get bad results. A person that's not smart or don't have resources with the right information can change their whole life. Because wisdom and change starts with education. It starts with you learning something different and doing something different. It doesn't start with you being born with a silver spoon in your mouth. So we've been conditioned at times to believe that we need to have a certain amount of money before we even get started. So now what happens is, let's say you do come into a nice lump sum of money. You have zero experience with managing whatever lump sum of money this is. If it's $500,000, matter of fact, a lottery, because people with this mindset usually want to play the lottery. You win the lottery for $4 billion. I mean, not $4 billion. That's crazy. $4 million. So you get $4 million and you can't manage $40. And people surprised that people hit the lottery and end up broke not too long later. Why? Because this person has a belief system that once they have a certain amount of money, they can quit working. That's why I did that short explaining I didn't quit working. I quit a job. When you quit a job, you still have to work. You're working on something. You're working on yourself. You're working on your family. You're working on your health. You exercising. You're working on reading. You're working on improving somewhere. If you don't, you're going to wither and die. That's another statistic you can look up. People that retire from jobs that don't stay active, they don't live long. Because they thought the goal was to just not do anything. That's not why we're here. We're not here to not do anything at one point. You don't have any type of purpose, any use at that point. And you just deteriorate and you speed up the process of you leaving here, because we all gonna leave. But just wanted to tell you that. So let's get back to the video.
Find it. If he can change, I can change. If he can get it done, I can get it done. That's the attitude about yourself. So valuable. Okay? Now, in transforming our lives, we don't start with attitude. We don't start with the inspiration here. We start with education. Somebody says, well, I expected you just come get motivated today. Well, that probably won't do it. Somebody says, by now we should be standing on the chairs, waving a flag, singing the old gray mare. Get going here. No, that's not where you start. Life change does not start with inspiration.
This is key.
Life change starts with education.
Starts with education.
You've got to be educated to the point of where you might have messed up.
That's another
My teacher put it in blunt, simple language.
Now, people don't want to hear where they messed up. They'll cut you off, they'll gaslight you, they'll run you in circles, they'll make excuses, they'll make foolish, they think they're doing it, but they're not. They try to make foolishness make sense. Anything but not to face accountability to realize they messed up. They don't want to talk about any part of the mistake that they made, about where they messed up. And this is insane, because that's how everything works right before you fix it. You don't take your car to the shop and they don't tell you what's wrong with it, and they just fix it. That's crazy talk. When you go to the doctor, you don't go to the doctor and they don't tell you what's wrong with you. They check all the symptoms, they diagnose you. And that's another reason why I want to get you guys reading. They diagnose you. When they checking on your car, they do a diagnostic. If they can't figure out what's going on, all this stuff is related. But because we so lazy with our language, we won't read, we won't study the English language. and it's not even just English. It's just the art of communication. How do I get what I'm trying to say to you where you understand it so well that it's you can almost feel where I'm coming from? And then how could I be sensitive enough and receptive enough to listen to you so intently when you talk to me that I can feel where you're coming from? It's an emotional thing when it comes to communication. But most of the time, people go into a conversation or communication for selfish reasons. They're looking for some type of benefit of themselves when the benefit should be, how can we both grow from the conversation we're about to have? And so communication is another skill set. People make the mistake of believing because they've been talking their whole life that they've been doing it effectively. But that's what they've been doing effectively, though. Just talking. They ain't been communicating. They ain't been doing the listening. They just been talking. It's a huge difference. Communication is a two-way street. And if a person is a poor communicator on the receptive end, you could be excellent when it comes to explaining something. But it's falling short because this person don't know how to listen. You start a sentence off, they start listening in the middle. But anyway, I could go all day about this stuff. I love it. I love it. Let's get back to it.
Language. He only went to the 9th grade in school, so he put it in simple language I could understand. He said, Mr. Rohn, after 6 years living in America, healthy American male, 25 years old, been working 6 years, 1 year of college, pennies in your pocket, nothing in the bank, behind on your promises. Shoaff said, I just got one simple explanation for that. You've messed up.
You messed up. It's you.
Now, I could understand that kind of language. Substitute a Hershey bar for an apple means you've messed up.
You messed
Should
up.
walk around the block, could walk around the block, won't walk around the block.
You just
you
won't
have
do it. You messed up.
Messed up. And all you got to go is right down through the list. Don't.
Now, some people ain't gonna like what I'm about to say, but I ain't got no control over what you like. I'm gonna be delicate as much as I can when I say it. But you don't wake up 400 pounds. You don't wake up 500 pounds. You don't go to sleep 200 pounds and wake up 6. There were signs all the way up to however heavy you are now. I deal with it. So that's what let me know I be having to get my life together. When it's time to tie my shoes. It's time to tie my shoes. I think about all the second sits I had. All the dessert sits I had. When I should have got up from the restaurant soon as I paid the bill. But I stuck around and end up ordering dessert while I was signing the last receipt. So tie your shoes and pay attention when you start getting overweight early. Don't start all of a sudden you at 500 pounds talking about I don't know what I'm gonna do. And the people that be feeding people that can't get up and get their own food should be ashamed of themselves. You enabling that person. You should force them to be on a diet. They can't even make a choice. What they gonna do? Get up and go to the refrigerator? Crazy.
You don't need some teacher to come by and tell you. Be your own best teacher, saying, hey, let me make a list of some places I've messed up. Because if I let this down, that probably affects the rest. And the answer is, that's true. So we don't start with inspiration. We start with education. Somebody says, well, just motivate this guy. He'll be all right. Just motivate him. Get him turned on. Probably not. If a guy's an idiot, you motivate him. Now you got a motivated idiot.
It's one of my favorites.
No, he won't be all right.
A motivated idiot.
So we start with education. What's the first education? If it isn't going well and you live in America, you have
messed up.
Messed up. You don't need to change countries. You say, well, the country's messed up. That's like cursing the soil and cursing the seed and the sunshine and the rain, which is all you got. Don't curse all you got. When you get your own planet, you can rearrange this whole deal. But this one, you got to take like it comes. So number 2 was attitude. Here was number 3. Activity.
You got to do something.
This is the work part. The labor part.
Something.
Taking action. And the activity is the miracle working piece. A miracle being something we don't quite understand how it works doesn't mean it doesn't work.
I'm going to tell you what a miracle is.
It means we just don't quite understand how it works. Miracles work.
A miracle is you didn't do anything. You didn't get up. You didn't go to work. And you look in your mailbox and you got a paycheck. That's a miracle. Okay? It ain't no miracle. If you get up, you apply for a job, you get hired, you go to work, you do your job, and you get paid. There is no miracle. There's no miracle in you doing something that you get a return from. You don't get up, you don't work out, you don't eat right, and you in shape. You got a six-pack, you got it all together. That is a miracle. That is another form of insanity, something crazy happening in your benefit without any sacrifice, out any work. We live in a society where people want to reverse the laws. The return comes after you put the work in. You don't get the return first. It's called return. It's its turn to get back. Return. It's your turn. It's always your turn first. It's your turn to do the work first. You do the work first, and then they return back to you. It returns back to you in different ways that you can benefit from. But it always starts with you. But people always start with an excuse doing this. But it's you. It's you.
God says. Now, I'm an amateur on God, but here's my best analysis. God says, if you'll plant the seed, I'll make the tree.
He's doing the hard part.
Now, that's a good arrangement. Number one, gives God the tough end of the deal. What if you had to make the tree? That'd keep you up late at night trying to figure out, how do you make a tree?
Make a tree.
Say, no, I'm telling you, the mystery and the miracle of this stuff has already been set up. God says, I got the miracle going, I got the seasons going, I got some sunshine and some rain, and I'm God. But the way I've arranged that, I just need somebody to plant the seed, not chant.
Give God something to work
California,
with.
They're trying to chant to get this stuff done. Forget this California stuff.
Trying to talk and stuff.
You don't have to rub a crystal and sleep under a pyramid. This stuff's too easy. Getting rich is too easy. Changing your life is too easy. Forget all that.
Too easy.
Right? Massive bombard, affirmation, forget all that. My opinion. Ocean waves and seagulls? Come on, this stuff's too simple. Just simple, easy stuff. But if you neglect it, that's how it piles up year after year. But if you're willing to straighten it out, and here's one of the keys. It's called act.
All right. What he meant when he said that was, people look at the one step they taken like it's not a big deal. If you go to a fast food restaurant today, that $10, $15 is not a big deal. Then you go the next day, that $10, $15 that day is not a big deal. The day after that, the $10, $15 that day is not a big deal. But now you multiply that 3 days times 15. You spend a total of $45 on fast food. And usually fast food is one meal. And people eat more than one meal a day. So you spent $45 for 3 meals over a 3-day period. And I found that most of your overspending in your budget comes from fast food. So if you were to watch your finances and track every time you spent money on food, that's where most of your leaks is coming from. That's the number one leak that I found in people's finances, is the money they spend on fast food, especially if they somebody that don't cook often. That's where most of their money is bleeding out of they're bleeding their wealth right out of their stomach. Right out of their stomach. He just said something and I missed that note. Oh, the steps. So those one meals at that time, they don't seem like a big deal. But imagine you taking one step in the wrong direction for 6 years. You know how far away you'll be away from your goals if you did that? One step every day in the wrong direction for years. And sometimes people ain't taking one step, they taking 10, 15, 20 a day in the wrong direction. And wonder why it's so hard trying to turn things around. And it's because they thinking wrong. It's a difference between turning around and getting to where you're trying to be, you can turn around in a day. Turn around, face the right direction, and start taking a step one at a time. Or 10, 15, 20, like you was doing in the wrong direction before you figured out you was going the wrong one. It's simple.
Activity. It's called disciplines. Turning wisdom from your philosophy and inspiration, the strengthening of attitude and faith and courage, commitment, and all this stuff that comes from attitude. If you're willing to take these two qualities, philosophy and attitude, and invest it into activity, you can have a miracle. Anything short of that, no miracle. Wisdom doesn't perform a miracle. Attitude doesn't perform a miracle. The only thing that performs a miracle of increase, called equity, is called putting wisdom and attitude into discipline, into labor.
Gotta do work.
And this labor now can perform a miracle. And here's the two parts to the labor. One, do what you can. Number two, do the best you can. Can't give you better advice than that.
Focus on what you can do. Don't spend all this time worrying about what you can't do. That's crazy. You spending all this time and energy focusing on what you can't do, letting all the things you can do just sit there. Then, if you are doing the things you can do, you're doing a half job. Am I saying it's easy? Absolutely not. Simple and easy is two different things. The simplicity is you just need to do what you can do and do your best that you can do when you do it. Put in an honest effort. And then you on the fast track in the right direction.
Number one, do what you can. You just got to go home and make a list after today. And here's the question to ask as you make this personal list.
Write it down.
What am I not doing that would be easy to do?
Write it down.
That could greatly change my health, my wealth? What am I not doing I'm neglecting that would be easy to do?
I wonder.
Just go home and answer that question personally. You don't have to put the answers on a public bulletin board. This is just all personal stuff. From the walk around the block to the apple to what to do with your money, which we're going to cover today. What does a child do with $1? We're going to cover that today. Errors in judgment, disaster. Few simple disciplines, wealth beyond imagination.
Wealth beyond imagination, simple disciplines. Doing it for a long period of time. But just starting the day you get the information. That's the crazy. Just start the day you get the information. I got something for you. Remember at the beginning, I told you take notes. Did you do it? And see, you only know if you did or not. But I'm about to show you something. This is my notes. And I told you I started this doggone stream too fast. Told you I'd be right back. I'm right here. Now, I'm taking notes. Goals, attitude, education. You messed up. Steps. One a day in the right direction. Told you at the beginning, take notes. If you did, thank you. To yourself. You should be proud of yourself. This means you're serious. This means you're really willing to do the work. If you haven't did it, you didn't take notes, it doesn't mean you're not going to do the work. I know what it is. You ain't made your mind up yet. You haven't committed yet. That's what that is. I used to be that person, and I seen a lot of people like you. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You just move a little slower than other people, and sometimes you just don't move. And it's cool. But I'm glad you're tuning in, though. Hopefully you'll get it together. Let's go back.
And if you'll pick up the activity part, the miracle working part, plant the seed part, take care of your part, the soil will take care of its part, and the seed will take care of its part, the seasons will take care of their part, the miracle will take care of its part, if you'll take care of your part, called putting it into activity, action. Works miracles. 2,000 years ago, on April 13th, one of Jesus' disciples. Now again, I'm an amateur on the Bible, but best as I can remember it, one of Jesus' disciples said to Jesus, "It's time to pay our taxes and we don't have any money." That's how come I know it was about April 13th.
Now, for you crooks out there, or irresponsible people out there, taxes are due on April 15th. So if that joke went over your head, shame on you.
To this statement by his disciple, Jesus said, best as I can read the record, Jesus said, "No problem."
No problem.
Now, why could he say no problem? Well, word has it, he was a miracle worker. Word has it, if you're a good student of history, word has it, he was a miracle worker. If you handed a problem to a miracle worker, what would he be inclined to say? No problem.
No problem. I got it.
You got to hang out with folks like that. I belong to a small group like that. We do business around the world. You hand these guys a problem, they say no problem.
No problem.
What? How many books would they read to solve it?
Many as it takes.
Many as it takes. How early would they get up?
Early as it takes.
Early as it takes. How much information would they gather?
Many as it takes.
Much as they needed.
Much as needed.
So it's what?
It's
no problem. You got to hang out with folks like that. Jesus said this will be no problem, the tax thing. He said to his disciple, it's simple. Go fishing. Wow.
Go fishing.
Now that was easy for this particular disciple. His name was Peter. And Peter was a fisherman. How clever. How clever.
How simple.
But here's the real problem. If you should fish, and you could fish, and you don't fish.
And you don't fish. Now, before he goes a little deeper in this story, I want you to notice something. When he came to Jesus and told him he didn't have the money, Jesus didn't give him the money. Jesus told him to go fishing. Fishing was his profession, which means Jesus told him to go work. Go to work. You coming to me asking me for money, go to work. If you go to work, you'll find the money.
You got no miracle. You could change, you should change, you won't change. That's called accumulated disaster. In 6 years, you'll be explaining instead of celebrating. Having some ragged list like I had, reasons for not doing well, pennies in my pocket. Could, should, don't, disaster.
Don't.
And if you'll just start the process of change.
It's a choice.
Could,
not to do that.
should, and will. You can start this whole process. And if you will, then put it into action.
Yes, sir.
The miracle belongs to you. Jesus said to his disciple, it'll be simple. Go fishing, and the first fish you catch, look in his mouth. Peter said, okay. He was used to strange things happening in this relationship. Peter goes fishing, catches the first fish, looks in his mouth. Guess what's in the fish's mouth? Coins. Peter says, wow, coins. Starts counting the value of these coins, and when he adds it up, guess how much it added up to? Exactly enough money to pay his taxes and Jesus' taxes. Which gives you Jesus' position on taxes.
Now, I want to say something. I don't know if this was a metaphor or not. I don't know if the coins was actually in the fish mouth or not. I wasn't there. And I haven't gotten to that part of the Bible for me to read that story myself either. But I did think about it this way too. The money was inside the fish. So if he caught the fish and he sold the fish would then turn into money. And not just enough of what he needed, but also enough for him to pay Jesus taxes too. Jesus didn't go fishing with him. Jesus just sent him to go fishing and got his taxes paid too, just because Jesus knew what to do. Ooh-wee.
Okay. Now we call that what? A miracle, only because we don't quite understand how it works. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. It simply means we don't quite understand how it works. But here's how you get a miracle going for your life. Number one, do what you can. Get a list of the stuff you could do and you haven't done, postpone, and start cleaning that up. You can't start at a better place for personal change. That'll affect your bank account, affect your future, affect your income, affect everything. You can't start a better
place than right
life
now.
Change process than cleaning up what you should be doing. The man says, well, my mother lives down in Florida. Should have written her 6 months ago. I just can't seem to get that letter written. I'm asking you to get that letter written, clean that up, and don't walk like other people walk. Don't postpone like other people postpone. You say, well, is it as simple as writing a letter? And the answer is yes. Where else would you start for life change, personal change? You don't need a pink package to fall out of the sky. You don't need massive bombard, pre-conscious, subconscious. Practice channeling, find a 2,000-year-old guru. I mean, you don't need any of that stuff. Pass on all that. Kids are afraid of that stuff. Too much of it, you'll be out on a limb with Shirley. I mean, don't pass on all that stuff. This stuff's too easy. This stuff's too simple. It's called take action, number one, on neglect, on errors, in discipline. Number two, start setting up some disciplines. And if you'll do that, you'll perform a miracle. Now, here's the second part of the miracle. Number one is do what you can. Here's number two, do the best you can.
Do the best you can.
If that's not your philosophy, I would ask you to amend it.
Do something different. Don't keep doing that.
Let me give you the best of ancient script. Here's what it says. Whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might, do it with all your strength, and do it with all your power. What a good philosophy. That kind of philosophy will revolutionize your life if you haven't picked it up lately.
Do it like you mean it.
Guy
man.
slips in late, company doesn't seem to mind, slips out early, first one in the parking lot, heading for happy hour. Stretches his break, comes early.
He's stealing from the
for
company.
lunch, late back from lunch. Company doesn't seem to notice. Guy says, best as I can calculate, I'm putting in about a half a day's work and I'm collecting a full day's pay. And the guy says, I got it.
As soon as they
Maybe.
find out
Little
you're
does he
doing that.
know the seeds of his own disaster are already being sown by the weakness of his own personal philosophy. It's not the economy that's going to determine your next 6 years. It's your philosophy about labor and about activity and about miracle and soil and seed and sunshine and rain.
Do you know that at the exact same time you think all of the reasons you're doing bad is happening, all of those things are happening to somebody else, but they doing great? So here's a quick little story. 2 salesmen. It's raining terribly outside. One of the salesmen, door-to-door salesman, he look outside. He say, man, please, I ain't going out there in that rain. It's raining terribly. I'll go a different day. The other salesman, he see the rain. He said, this is a great day to go out and make sales. All the other salesmen won't go out in no rain like this. And plus, all the other people will probably be at home, the people I'm trying to sell to. Same situation, different mindset. And he probably made a killing that day because he ain't had no competition.
And the economy, and the banks, and the money, and the companies, and the schools, and what's going on. It's your philosophy and your attitude. And then your ability to take action. All of that we call the process of life change, miracle working. Number one, do what you can. Number two, do the best you can. Here was number
do what you can,
4.
do the best you can.
Results. Results. Every once in a while, you got to take a measure, see how you're doing. with these three pieces: philosophy,
No matter how much
attitude,
you heard about looking at your
activity.
mistakes, you have to look
Now
at
we take a
them.
measure called
That's how you
results.
find out if you're doing good or not.
What is the results at the end of the day, the results at the end of the week? You can't let too much time go by without checking. When time goes by, 6
Thank you
years
guys
I've been
for
out there
being
working
here.
when I met my teacher, Mr. Schiff. Schiff said, well, Mr. Rohn, let's just go through a little summary here. He said, in the last 6 years, how much money have you saved and invested? Let's go through a little tab list here. How much money have you saved and invested the last 6 years?
How much?
I said what?
0.
0. He said, you have
You messed up.
messed up. You remember these notes. I like
Didn't
that.
save a dime in 6 years.
Messed up. He said, who sold you on that plan?
6 years?
I thought,
dime?
my gosh, the man's right. I'm a nice guy. I bought the wrong plan. What if you were 50 and broke? Right? Didn't need to change countries. Bought the wrong plan. What a sad scenario that would be. But Schoaf said these questions. Let's go through some results. He said, how many books have you read in the last 90 days? I said, what? 0. Wisdom of the world available? Change your life, change your future.
Change your life.
Wisdom of the world available? Develop any skill you want, earn the kind of income you want, have all the treasures you want, equities you want, relationship with your family that you want, everything that you want available, and the wisdom of the world to help you get it.
$6.
Haven't read any books in the last 90 days. My teacher said, Mr. Rohn, you have
Messed up.
messed up. I'm telling you, you've got the deal. Schoaf said, Mr. Rohn, in the last 6 months, how many classes have you taken to improve your skills or to develop new skills? Go for the American dream. Become rich and powerful and sophisticated and healthy and influential. How many classes have you taken in the last 6 months? I said, how many? 0. He said, you have messed up. He said, you don't need to unmess the country. You don't need to straighten out the perplexed. You don't need to straighten out any of this stuff. All you've got to do is look within and let results teach you a great deal about your own activity, your own attitude, and your own philosophy. I went through that process. Take this phrase home. Results is the name of the game. What other game is there? Results. Here's all life asks us to do. Make measurable progress in reasonable time. Just take home that little phrase. Good phrase. We're asked in life simply to make measurable progress in reasonable time.
Now look, he said measurable.
We demand it of our children. How many years do you want your child to spend in 4th grade? Approximately.
An example would be you losing weight. You losing weight is something you can measure because you lost 2 pounds, 5 pounds. Can't measure some stuff, so I'm not even gonna try to rack my brain to figure whatever that would be out. But you can measure how many books you read. You can measure how much money you saved. That stuff you can count. Not I'm making better decisions. Like, you can't count something like that. You don't know how a decision would have played out. So that's an example of what he's talking about.
About 1. If it looks like they're not going to make it, we pour on the pressure, called legitimate pressure. Lack of results. Peer pressure, family pressure, school pressure, community pressure. Every other kind of pressure we can bring to bear. Why? You can't stay more than 1 year in 4th grade.
Yeah.
As parents, you'd have to leave the community. You say, well, what if they're nice kids? Wouldn't you give them 3 or 4 years? The answer is no. You got to make better progress than that. So you got to check fairly often. Some things you got to check every day. Some things you got to check at least by the end of the week. Salesman joins this little sales company. Supposed to make 10 calls first week.
This key, guys.
Wouldn't it be legitimate? Call him in on Friday and say, John, what? How many calls? I mean, this stuff is simple.
A number. How many?
John says, well. Say, John, well won't fit in this little box here. Well.
He don't even accept letters. Only numbers. Only letters, John.
Now John starts with a story. You say, John, I made this little box so small so a story won't fit. I don't need a story. I need what?
A
number. A number. What will a number tell me?
Everything.
Everything. John's supposed to make 10 calls. What if he made 20? You say, wow. Wow. We got somebody.
Shine on his business.
What if he only made 1 call? Whoa. Will that tell us something about John's philosophy? And the answer is yes. Will it tell us something about his attitude? Of course. Will it tell us something about his disciplines? Of course. And if he wants a lesson in life change, all he has to do is be willing to face the numbers and come up with the results that will teach you to either celebrate if you got good results or fix whatever needs to be fixed in your philosophy, attitude, activity called disciplines. You don't need to go anywhere else. I do believe in affirmations. And they are valuable as long as you affirm the truth. Because it says in ancient scripts, the truth, what? Will set you free. Free to do what? Amend your errors and pick up new disciplines. That's what the truth is for, to help us amend our errors.
Hurt people that don't want to hear they messed up. But the truth is what's going to show you what you need to work on. Yeah, it hurt. Don't nobody want to make no mistakes. But it's laws to the way stuff work. And one of the laws is that nobody's perfect. So you're going to make mistakes. And then there's always room for improvement. So a mistake is an opportunity to do better. It's not an opportunity for you to sulk and feel all defeated because somebody's trying to say, hey, man, you messed up here. You might want to work on that. But you won't even let them finish that sentence. So, got to get it together, man.
And pick up the disciplines for life change. That's what the truth is for. So I do believe in affirming the truth. If you're broke, best thing to affirm is, I am broke. You put that up on the refrigerator where you can see it every day. I mean, that's how you do that.
Fridge. You know you're going to eat.
Now, if you need a little additional affirmation, you just put up there, I'm 40 and broke. I mean, you know, that ought to do it. And if you need just a little more, put up there, I live in America and I'm 40 and broke. That's enough to turn your life around. It says, hey, something is wrong. Somewhere I have messed up. And I'm telling you, if you'll start with that, it's called the process of life change, and it doesn't matter how small the process is to start. One discipline starts it, and then one discipline feeds another, and the first thing you know, you've got this whole cycle in an upward positive motion. And it's called life change. It's called income change. It's called health change. Relationship with your family change. Equities unprecedented that you can have in numbers that will stagger the imagination if you do not curse what's available and start amending what's possible to get the results that you want. I don't think I can put it in any better
Man, I'm about to have a ball.
That's it. Kids can do it. Teenagers can do it. Parents can do it. Managers can do it. Right? Government officials can do it. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do this stuff called personal change. Wow.
I've watched this, I don't know how many times.
Results is the name of the game.
I just wanted to give you guys
Success is a numbers game.
And
good note to make. Success is a numbers game.
Give you my take.
You got to go for the numbers. You got to understand what the numbers are.
We got about 10 minutes left on the video too. Or at least for us.
How many pounds overweight should you be at age 50?
How many pounds overweight?
Approximate. John says, I got big bones. We'll give you 10 pounds.
Excuse.
10 pounds for big bones. Otherwise, come on, John. 20 pounds, 25 pounds. Shouldn't we turn on the caution light at work and at home? Blinking caution light. Somebody says, what's that caution light? So John's up about 20, 25 pounds. We got the blinking light going at home, got it going here at work. To remind him what? Wrong numbers. Okay? 35, 40 pounds, red light. Blinking at home. Somebody says, what's that blinking red light? Say, John's up about 40 pounds.
Boom.
50 pounds. We got the siren. What's that siren at home and at work? John's up about 50 pounds. Cholesterol, almost out of control. Come on. Success is a numbers game. I'm asking you to be mature enough to start checking your own numbers. How many books have you read in the last 90 days? Transform your life. Become cultured, powerful, sophisticated, healthy, influential, all the rest of the stuff you want. How many books? How many classes? How committed are you to taking what's available and turning it into equities unprecedented, since we live in a country that there's been no such country in the last 6,500 years? If you'll pick up that process, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, it's called life change of the best order. Now here's the last one. Number 5 is called lifestyle. Lifestyle is simply learning how to live well. The last of the 5 major pieces. Here's the ultimate challenge of life. I've worked on this, you cannot believe how hard, since age 25. And that is, after applying better philosophy, attitude, and activity, and picking now up results.
I'm gonna start
what are results for? Here's my ultimate challenge on results.
Something on the channel where
to fashion.
You
good
guys
word
can
to
tune
jot
in,
down. Fashion.
Leave a comment, show you the books that I'm working on.
Fashion for yourself lifestyle, or what we call the good life.
You guys can join me. Tell me what you're
That's the
on,
ultimate
what you're
challenge.
reading, and
to
things
take your
like
results,
that.
take your money,
I'm looking forward
take
to
your
it, 'cause I love
results,
a good
take
book.
the
You guys let
return,
me know
take
what
the
you
equities
read
you've
or what
gathered,
you've gotten, and I see if
and
I got it in
now
my library.
fashion
If I don't,
for
I might have to
yourself a
check
good
it out
life,
and see what's
like
going on. I
weaving a
appreciate it,
tapestry.
for real.
And Mr. Shelf gave me all kinds of examples on lifestyle. He gave me 2 phrases that helped change my life. In case you have to leave early, let me give you these 2 phrases. It'll be worth the price of coming and being here today. Just take these 2 phrases home, in case you have to leave early. Here's number 1. Shelf said, Mr. Rohn, if you wish to be wealthy, study wealth.
Study wealth. Listen, guys. Study wealth. Please study it.
When he said that, I said, my gosh, I don't know anybody that studies wealth. Where am I going to learn it? He said, never mind, Mr. Rohn, now that you've met me, if you'll be with me for a while, he said, and if you'll commit yourself, he
Absolutely.
said, I will teach you.
Now that's the power of a mentor.
And he taught me. He taught me the books. He taught me the stuff. Changed my life. By the time I was 31, I was a millionaire. The man taught me well.
Just from listening to him, the information.
If you wish to be wealthy,
and putting it to use, putting it to work. He still had to do the work. He just needed to know what to do.
If you were to show me your present economic plan, in a personal conversation between you and me, you say, Mr. Rohn, let me disclose for you my current economic financial plan for the future. Would I get so excited, I'd say, hey, I'm going to go across the country and lecture on your plan. And if the answer is no, Mr. Rohn, you probably wouldn't want to go across the country and lecture on my plan. Here's my question to you.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Why wouldn't you have a superior, powerful financial plan that's taking you to the places you want to go? I'm asking you, if you find yourself caught like I was at age 25, make the personal commitment today and say, I'm going to study, and I'm going to change, and 5 years from now, nobody's going to be able to say, how come you don't have a superior plan living in a superior country with superior opportunity?
All these opportunities.
Nobody's going to be able to say that 5 years from now of me. If you'll make that commitment, I'm telling you, this will be one of the most exciting days of your life. Not because of my seminar. It'll be one of the most exciting days of your life because of your commitment to this simple little process I've outlined for you. Here was the second phrase. Mr. Shelf said, Mr. Rohn, if you wish to be happy, study happiness. I didn't know happiness was a study.
I didn't know neither. So he told me. And
my best hope for happiness at age 25 was to just go through the day with my fingers crossed. Hoping somehow something would make me happy. Shelf said, no, Mr. Rohn, happiness is not something you postpone. Happiness is not something off in the future. Happiness is something you design. You got to get the word. Happiness is something you design. Happiness is a study. Happiness is a practice. Happiness is an art. It's not an accident. It's an art. And anybody that wants to can study, practice the art of happy living.
Now let me tell you something about happiness. Happiness is something that has been thrown around very loosely with the word. We say things like, this makes me happy. Make is a word like forced. And then we'll put that on people. We'll say, he makes me happy. She makes me happy. You have somebody making you happy. Let me tell you something. When you really understand what happiness is by studying what he's talking about, happiness is something that you find when you alone. And now that's going to be scary to a lot of people that can't see themselves alone. They're afraid to be alone. But that's when you learn who you are. You're not trying to please anybody else when you're alone. Give you an example. And I just think did something with this video the other day, or the movie the other day. Coming to America. Remember when he took his wife, the woman that was supposed to be his wife, in the back, and he was asking her, like, what kind of food do you like? She was like, whatever kind of food you like. She kept saying, whatever you like. He was like, yeah, I know what I like, but I want to know what you like. He wanted to know what made her happy. But she was so focused, or she had been raised to make him happy. Who is she? Who is she? What's her identity? So when we jump from relationship to relationship, especially using the term makes me happy, we really don't know what's going on. So when I actually started studying it like he told me, and he's actually written a book, I showed you earlier, on the 2 things he just told you need to study, by the way, was that I found I can have a good time by myself. I find humor in things. I love things to be quiet. I love a good meal. I love smell good stuff, candles, a hot cup of tea. And I'm miserable. This affects my happiness. I'm miserable if I feel like I haven't had a productive day. If I don't get what I call work done, a whole day that went past, I know I don't get that back, and I get extremely frustrated. But that's something I learned about me and my happiness. You have to learn about yourself. And the only way that I've figured out that you can do that is for you to focus on yourself. But society has done certain things and created certain situations, especially some people that benefit from you not focusing on yourself, is that they would call you selfish. Let me tell you something. You knowing you is the greatest gift you can give to anybody else that cares about you, because they don't have to worry about you, because you know how to take care of yourself. That's the best gift you can give anybody that cares about you. It's for them to know, I don't have to worry about him. Joe? Oh, man, please. You gotta worry about Joe. Joe take care of himself, but I do know Joe well enough to where if he really needed something, he would ask, and I got him. That's the type of reputation you want. But it starts with you understanding happiness. So this is what happens when you actually understand what happiness is. So now I know what makes me happy. It starts with me knowing when my mood improves and when I feel great. Even though I'm tired and I'm blinking off in front of the computer from doing editing and shooting videos all day, I can sleep like a baby because I know I made the day count. And if I love peace and quiet, and that's my key to my happiness, or something that makes me happy, bringing somebody in my life or somebody being in my life, they can add to my happiness, but they're not required to make me happy. That's not what they're there for. There's 2 things. Either you're going to enhance the happiness I have, or you're going to be a doggone threat to my happiness. And now we got a problem because I'm already happy. But you got people doing the opposite. They're getting into relationships seeking happiness versus knowing what happiness is to them. They're already happy, and they're bringing that attitude into the relationship. So it's easier to tell that it ain't going to work because you realize that your happiness is going down. It's not going up. They're not boosting your happiness that already exists. You got people that's sad or miserable getting into relationships, expecting the person they get in a relationship with to make them happy. I hope you understood that. All right, now it's 12:02. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video because, man, I had a ball. I don't know about you, but I had a good time. And I'm glad that this was recorded. So if anybody missed it, they can come back and they can have a great experience with checking this stuff out on their own time and at their leisure. And you can still post your comments and put your questions here on the channel. I'm going to get them. They still going to come to me. And I'm going to make sure that I respond. We might even bring it up on the next video or whatever. But this week is going to be great. I got a lot of great things coming up for you guys. I got some website stuff I've been working on. I think I'd already told you or showed you guys about the business cards I got. But before we go, I know it's late. I'm going to go over this with you. I hope you took notes. If you came late, I see that some people came a little later in the video. These are the notes that we took from earlier. Also, like I said, the video is down in the link in the description so you can watch the whole video on your own time. And then you can look back on the channel for when I schedule the next live so we can do a part 3. Let's go over this real quick. You got goals, and this is no specific order. This is no specific order. Goals, attitude, education, dealing with the fact and accepting the fact, holding yourself accountable that you messed up. So if you created the problem, you have to fix it. It's your life, it's your situation. You need to do something different. Steps. You want to take steps in the right direction. One step is not a big deal, so we think. But if you're taking the one step every day in the wrong direction for 6 years, you way off track. Turn around. That can happen that day. The results are going to take time, but the turnaround happens that day. Do what you can. Don't spend the majority of your time thinking about what you can't do. You're wasting energy on something that doesn't even matter. Focus on what you can do. Then, once you realize what you can do the best you can with what you can do. Also, understand what philosophy is. A lot of your behaviors are a result of what you think and what you believe. If you don't believe, I didn't hit the mic. If you don't believe something is going to work, chances are you're not going to do it at all because you feel like it's not going to work. So that's what philosophy is, the way you think. I had to get over that. I had to tell myself, I don't know if it works or not until I do it. That was the attitude that I had to take to try to get over the philosophy stuff. And you'll be able to see results that will challenge your belief system. Next one, you want numbers. Stop telling stories. When somebody asks you a question, you giving excuses and stories. Listen, numbers. That's how you can measure stuff. Numbers. You need numbers. How many? How much? How often? Not a little and a lot. A little and a lot is not measurable. A number. How many books did you read? A lot. No, how many did you read? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 1, 2, 3, none. Measurable. Now, I forgot to write the last one on there. I didn't put the pen away, but I'll talk about this one while I do it. Progress or regression. That's what you're going to see when it comes to the numbers. You're going to be able to see if you're progressing or you're regressing. You're moving in the wrong direction. You want to study wealth. And last but not least, you want to study happiness. Might as well make that a dollar sign. You know what? My great grandmother, taught me that. Matter of fact, yeah, my great grandmother taught me that. I was doing some homework and I wrote something the wrong way. I don't remember what it was. I think it was a C. It was something, but she was like, "You don't have to cross that out. Look, you just make a little adjustment and now it's what you need." I was like, oh, that stuck with me. So just like that, let's turn that 1/S into a dollar sign. We want some money in our happiness. we want some money in our happiness. All right. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Take care. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Education is your own responsibility. The school system does not have a monopoly on education. Being educated is your own responsibility. Take care and God bless. Appreciate you guys for tuning in.